MCBA Trail.
Yo, 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 we are live. A rarity. This is a one-off, a double-header today. We will be live tonight at 6 p.m. with Mike Check. Mike's got a list of top R&B songs with hip-hop features. That's going to be dope. But today, we got a special edition of Around the Culture presented by A2HH. We're live. Now, normally we have the luxury of chopping this up, but we don't today. So we're going to do what we do. So I'm Ron. That's Vay. What's up, brother?
What up? What up? How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? You ready for our live debut? Oh man, we lost Vay. But anyway, we got a show today. He'll be back in a minute. We got a good show today. We got a couple topics. We want to talk about Malcolm Jamal Warner, his thoughts about the N-word and where we are with it in the culture. I think he talked about some other words that he thought could be retired. He thinks that are corny. He thinks that we should just move away from as a culture. So we'll talk to Vay on that. He was really passionate about that topic. Also, we're going to be live at the barbecue. We're going to talk about all the songs that we play at the barbecue. What's on our playlist that we're going to be playing tomorrow on 4th of July? Vay is back. So I was just introducing the show, brother, saying we're going to talk about Malcolm Jamal Warner, about his thoughts about the N-word and how we should retire that word and others in the culture, about the top 5 songs we play at the barbecue. You know, everybody's barbecue is different. Not everybody has an invite, but I got my songs. I know Vay's got his songs. And we want to talk about this never-ending discussion of what's a producer and what's a beat maker. I think this is stemming from the conversation we had on Mic Check on Monday regarding Marsha Ambrosius, Dr. Dre, who won our inaugural A2HH producer battle. So that's where we are with it. Vay, so where we want to start for? Let's start with Malcolm Jamal Warner. Let's talk about his comments. I think last week he was on a podcast. He talked about how we should move away from the use of the N-word in the culture. And I know we got my man IO, who knows Malcolm personally, wants to kind of cook up on it as well. But Vay, go first. What's your thoughts on what Malcolm said?
Yeah. And real quick, I want to like I was telling you before, I had I had dental work done today, and I didn't realize they were going to numb my mouth. So I might be, I might sound a little crazy because my part of my mouth is still numb, but we working through it. So yeah, with the Malcolm Jamal Warner joint, man. So Ron, man, I was telling you, I was on the, I'm in New York City, I'm in Washington Heights, and I was on the train. Yesterday, actually, and there was this dude, white. He looked Italian. If I'm like just going by optics, he looked like an Italian brother. He had on his headphones, and he was rapping some song out loud, and if any of y'all know, if you live in New York, y'all know that it's nothing new as far as people wilding out on the train or whatever. But this man, he had on his headphones, he was rapping, and whatever song he was rapping, I want to say that song had about 37, 50, 11 niggas in it. And this was a white dude. And the crazy part was that, pardon me, he was surrounded by nothing but black people. Like, it was like older black people. There was like an older black woman sitting next to me. Across the way was an older black man. There was a young sister that was around the way, but pretty much everybody was black. And just how comfortable he felt rapping this song with all these niggas in it. It didn't sit right with me. And I use that as a preface to say, first of all, I think that we have to ask ourselves, are we talking about black culture, or are we talking about hip hop culture? Because I think many of us see them as the same thing, and then you have people who see them as two different things. And for me, I actually took Malcolm Jamal Warner's comments as him simply saying, challenging rappers to just get more creative, to step the pen game up. You know, we talk about double entendres, metaphors, imagery, alliteration, all these poetic devices. Throw curse words in that too, man. I think when he said there should be a what he said moratorium or something like that.
Yeah, a
I think
moratorium
that's
on the word.
yeah. I think that's when it sort of got into like Bill Cosby, sort of like wait a minute, Bill Cosby. You know, it kind of felt like that. But I I don't think. Look, I don't agree with doing away with the word. Um, I view it like curse words. I don't care if you use it. I don't judge you. I try not to use it personally. I just think that like we have created, Black people have created genres of music. We created culture. We create food. Like we create all these amazing things. We can't find or create another term of endearment. I don't know. Like to me, it's not about. You know, I know the conversation is tends to go around. Well, we took the word back. We're taking the word back. We're reclaiming the word, and in that you're then removing the power. I've never wanted it that badly. You know, if I'm keeping it real, I've just never wanted. And to me, it's I don't know. I've just never wanted the word. I've never wanted the word that badly, and we be going hard for it. We go hard for it, and you know, I think there's something to be said about that. But as far as Malcolm Jamal Warner's comments, I agree. If we're just talking about rappers, I agree. A rapper should be able to rap without cursing. You should be able, and it's not to say that you shouldn't curse as much as you want, but you should be able to have it in your bag to where if you know a rapper asks you, hey, do you mind watching the language in your verse? You should be able to say, yeah, no problem. Your pin game should be tight enough to where that should be nothing. Yeah, I don't gotta. I can make this shit sound hot with or without curse words. That's what I think.
Right. So I'm not trying to play both sides of the fence. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. I'm not trying to be a flip
Nah,
flopper on it.
play devil's advocate.
I think I come from the side where I don't want to restrict an artist creativity, right? I don't want to put a boundary on an artistic expression. For example, right? We look at DMX, "Flesh on My Flesh, Blood on My Blood." You know that song, "My N Words," right? That
Mm-hmm.
song wouldn't be what it is if he didn't use it. You know, if you look at 1999 Woodstock and you look at the crowd when he does the call and response, you know how MCs do the call and response, and he did that for that record. How do we say as a culture, how do we police that, right? Because if you say, are we asking the audience in 1999 Woodstock to restrict themselves from the call and response? Because it's that moment was a viral moment. It was a viral moment back then before we even knew about what virability was or viral moments were. So to put a shackle on an artist per se, I don't think that's good for the culture. I think there's
Can
a
I
difference between. Go ahead. Go ahead.
can I jump in on that point?
Right.
I don't think. Sorry, not to cut you off. I don't think that um, Malcolm Jamal Warner was saying. I don't see it as putting a shackle on one's creativity. I think that to Malcolm Jamal Warner's point, he was just saying the way it's used is gratuitous, and that it removes the power when you use it too much. And so, bringing up DMX at Woodstock, um, the way in which he used it was purposeful, and that song wouldn't be what it is without the use of that word. But it was used for a reason. There's a difference between using that word for a reason and just using it just for the sake of using it. Does that make
Right. Right.
sense?
That
And I
makes
think and
sense.
I think and I think that's the difference. That's the difference here. And that is no one's saying that you shouldn't use or police the word nigger, but when we're just talking about being creative, when we're talking about and especially as rappers, where rappers are wordsmiths. We're supposed to have a way with words, expanding, figuring out ways to expand the creativity in how we use the words. You know, if you have to say nigger, because and I say nigger with the hard R, it don't even sound right. Nigger, whatever. If you have to use this word, but even that, I'm using, even how I'm using the word right now, nigger, I have to use that to make a point, right? I'm using it to make a point.
What
And
you just
so,
call me? Yo,
you know,
I want to get off the phone. I want to fly to New York. What you call me?
I'm done. I'm
I'm
done.
done. But not to cut you off
Yeah.
though. But I want to kind of piggyback on what you said. I don't want to lose this thought. You said about the creativity of using the word. Did you think the way that Drake used it in Family Matters when he started the record off? Did you think that was a creative use of the word?
I saw it coming. I mean, it was predictable because, you know, Kendrick told him you don't want to use it anymore. So it was like, okay, he's going to say it. Drake using the word is cringy to me. And it's weird. And I know it's weird because it's not cringy when Cole uses it, and they're both biracial. You asked if I thought it was creative the way Drake used it.
Yes.
No. It wasn't. Like if we're talking creativity, what are ways in which you can use the word nigger? Like maybe create some sort of acronym around NIGGA or NIGGER, however you want to use it, to thus to further your point as to why he should be able to say the word. That's creative. But the fact that he just said nigga, that's not creative. Anybody could do that.
Right. So like Jigga, like that Rough Riders joint. Jigga, what's my is that creative? I'm just trying to find out what's the creative use of it. I'm trying to, you're an artist, you're a producer, you're a writer, you're a creator. Yeah. Well, I want to know how would you, I mean, you gave me an example, but I'm just trying to find no examples. Is that a creative use of it?
Well, because now we're sort of going into this. It depends on what the conversation is. If you're asking me, is it creative? No. If you're asking me, do I think that hook works to sell records? Yes. That's two different conversations. There are plenty of hot songs that there are plenty of bangers that use the word in ways that aren't the most creative. I guess it just depends on what we're calling creative. Do I think Jigga, what's my motherfucking name? Do I think that's creative? No. But it doesn't take away that it's a hot record. You know what I'm saying? Like, the shit still goes hard, and I'm still doing that. But is it creative? No.
Right. He also said in his comments that he thinks the B word, we should retire, and then he also made a note that he doesn't listen to J. Cole, an artist that he admires and appreciates his work as much because he uses these words. I don't know. I just think that again, I'm the one that says we shouldn't restrict an artist's creative expression. I'm also of the mind, and Mike D disagrees with me that, you know, Latinos like Fat Joe, I don't have a, you know, you being in New York, let me ask you this. Do you have a problem with, you know, the Dominicans and the Puerto Rican cats using that word? Or is it cringy? Is it cringy as well?
Man, that's such a great question. I've gotten into many debates with actually, because I have a lot of Dominican friends, but I actually got in a big debate with one of my homies who's Puerto Rican. And because I try not to use the word, and he was like, that's our word. He's like, that's our word. Nigga's our word. And for me, I don't police anybody saying it, man. It's not because it is, and it goes back to my first question. I'm talking about hip hop culture, and that word up here, it does mean something. And this is.
Oh, we lost Vay. So Vay was saying we were talking about the N word and the use of it in hip hop, and Vay lives in Washington Heights, and Vay is my partner on the other podcast that we do. We were going to call it Two Rap Dads, but we call it Around the Culture, presented by A2HH. He was saying about the use of the N word. Let me add him back to the stage.
Sorry, man. My Wi-Fi is like a black hole. There's nothing new about New York, by the way. I'm just putting that out there. So no, what I was saying though is that this is coming from somebody that's from Atlanta and lives in New York now. I don't find anything wrong with Latinos up here saying it necessarily, because it is sort of seen in that way. But I try not to use it.
Got it. We got a very special guest in the building. My guy from way back in the day, from Cleveland, Ohio, the MC, entrepreneur, curator of I Keep It Classic, Politics and Black Families host, creator, musician extraordinaire. You got a new EP out right now called The Americas Episode 3. It's funny how the universe works, because Vay and we cook up something called Around the Culture. That's our podcast. He hit me up 2 weeks ago and was like, yo, I want to talk about this Malcolm Jamal Warner thing, right? And then we were at Patchwork, and he was like, yo, I want to talk about this Malcolm Jamal Warner thing. So I thought,
Well, let me give you a little backstory. Malcolm is my man, right? Like, Malcolm is that's one of my good friends down here. We work together in film and television. We got a few records together. I mean, I talk to Malcolm maybe 2 or 3 times a week, right? So I don't know your take on it, good brother, but Malcolm is what I would say one of the last great voices of his generation and his culture, for what he represent, for how he lived. Like, I know him from a personal space and business space, and he is very vocal about Black people being seen in different spaces. And we had the conversation around the N-word years ago. So for us, me and him, it goes back maybe 2016, 2017, when the conversation first started coming up. And over the years, to make it short, I just agree with Malcolm's stance on removing the word from our culture.
Yeah, and that's what kind of what Vay was with it. I think Vay, I missed the first part of the conversation, but you're kind of in a similar vein, right? About removing it from the culture. My take was, I don't think we should limit artists' creativity. Like, I gave an example. I don't know if you heard the first part. Like DMX, Flesh on My Flesh, Blood on My Blood, at Woodstock 1999, using the song My Niggas, right? I think, that was something that DMX had to do, kind of create that moment. But Vay, kind of tell Aya, what was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, and what's up, brother? It's
what's up, Vay? What's up? Peace, King. What's up?
Yeah, so my stance on it is, yes, sir. I don't think that the word, you should be able to do away with the word. But I do agree with him. What I took from his actual statement was him challenging rappers to get more creative, to be able to step their pen game up. And in that regard, I agree with him. I think that a rapper should be able to write a rap without a curse word, the N word. You should be able to have that in your bag. To do away with it completely, I don't think that's necessary. But I do agree with him in that when you use it gratuitously, it removes the power from the word, and so it actually removes the weight from it.
Right. Well, I'll say this, right? Like, I in my close friend groups, we still use it, right? Like, when I'm talking among my friends, like close friends, we still use it, but very selectively. When I'm out in the world, at my son's school with younger children. Like I try to like make sure I don't even like lean towards using the word. Um, my thoughts on the matter from an MC perspective is that it's weak rhyming when you have to use like we are wizards with words. We fall in love with words. We know the power of words. We know the effect it has in the universe. So when people choose to use the word now, you know, to your point and Malcolm's point, it's lazy. You know, I'll give you two um, experiences I've had with other cultures using the word or playing music with the word, and it was weird, right? So one was I was in South Street. I was on South Street in Philadelphia. I walk into the store, just shopping. They got some of the dopest shopping, sneaker shopping, in Philadelphia is on South Street. So I'm over there going to this store, this outdoor kind of hand-picked, curated store with it's just dope all around. So me, my wife, my son, who's 8 years old, we're in there, we're shopping, we're enjoying ourselves. You know, Philly's a beautiful place to visit in the summer, all around, mainly. But we just enjoying ourselves, and they're playing these records. First time I ignore it. First time I ignore it. Next time I keep hearing these records, right? I keep hearing nigga this. And it's like the shit that we play with our partners, right? Like, you know, we playing Future or whatever, or we just, you know, it's cool. But I'm hearing it so much with my son that I had to step to the guy who was not from this country. He was from I want to say somewhere in Europe. I can't recall, but he was somewhere in Europe. And I asked him, I said, you know, I said, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I said, as I shop and spend money in your business, I don't want to be here. I don't like being called a nigga. You know, like I don't really like it. You know, I said, I'm about to spend money with you, and I don't really like it. And he was kind of taken aback by it. He said, what do you want to hear? He asked me, what do you want to hear? So I went to Spotify, seeing he was playing it, and not only did I pull my music up, but I pulled comment up. You know, I pulled up some a Jay Dilla instrumental album. You know, I told him you could play Miles Davis. I was like, it's much more black culture and much more luxury black culture than like this version of music. And then the second instance is the girl that went viral for saying the N-word, right? The girl who said she got fired from her job because she said, I think it was something like, all my girls date broke ass niggas, and I'm not gonna be like my girls dating broke ass niggas. And it was a white girl. And then, you know, I seen the right start picking up, especially the Tatum guy, Officer Tatum. He was running with it, speaking, I'm so tired of blacks saying they can't use the word, but they can use the word. See, that's what happened when you use the word. You make people think it's okay to use the word. And when you think about the things our ancestors went through, from them putting lye in the water, from them not being able to vote, from them being called these derogatory terms, from them being hung, I think if our culture can't hold words that was given to us to enslave us and colonize our minds and colonize our hearts, and then say we still moving forward, it just don't make sense. It's almost, and if you're in a room full of white folks and you hear a song saying nigga, 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 or Asian folks or any culture, even black people who don't use the word, it seems weird, because how could we scream progress yet we use this word that's so demeaning and try to make a different version of it for us? I just think it's kind of one foot in, one foot out.
Yeah, I agree, man. I tend not to use the word. I know we use it in close proximity. Y'all might be saying, "Damn, you fronting on this pod. You didn't text me that word like 100 times in the last 2 weeks." But I try not to use it. You know what I'm saying? Because of the kids. But I do think we should be conscious of how we use it. You know, the environments that we're in. But I got a question to both of y'all brothers. I think Ranve, you kind of expounded on it a little bit. But yeah, how do you feel about, Mike D has a very strong opinion about Fat Joe and the Dominican cats and the Puerto Rican cats using that word in New York. I know, Vay,
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I'm being honest, and now granted, it's the treatment of those individuals in areas like New York and Chicago and Detroit and areas like Los Angeles. I mean, to their defense, they do get treated just how black people get treated in regards to law enforcement, being able to get loans, things like that. But ultimately, it's not their word, right? Because the word, the when you look at the history of the word it comes from, our ancestors in the South and working on slave plantations. And, if you're not connected to that, the root of the word, then trying to make like an extension of it for your culture is cool. But even around Latinos, they don't call themselves that. When it's just them, they're not like my nigga, no. They think that's the way to socialize with you. So you know, for me, I think black people own the word. I think black people have the right to destroy the word. I think black people have a right to say who can use the word, right? Because how is it that it's anti-Semitic when I say something about a Jewish person, or I even remotely make an excuse for the treatment of Jewish people, but it's not anti-black when I watch a movie that calls me and my son or me and my culture niggas, and I'm watching it with my son, right? They do it. They do it throughout. Like, it could be a film that you don't even have to use the word, right? It'll just come out of nowhere, and it'd be like everybody thought it was funny, and I'm like, I don't think that was funny. I don't see how it's not anti-black to say nigga, but it's anti-Semitic or anti-white or Latino to use the terms for their culture. So I'm with Mike on that.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Well, Wham, I think we all on the same page. It's a rarity, man. We don't never be on the same page about some shit. But hey, we on the same. Great minds think alike, brother. But yo, man, we appreciate you tapping in with us, brother. Tell the people where they can find you. I've been pumping your EP, the Americans episode of part 3. I've been telling folks about the podcast, what you're doing in the political space. Tell the people, where to find you. Because I like you need to tap back in with us more often. But tell the people before you.
Indeed, thank you for having me. It was great communicating with both of y'all brothers. I love what y'all doing. First, let me give y'all flowers because holding these conversations are important. Merging hip hop culture and local community leaders or advocates just to have a chance to get on and speak to anybody and mainly our community is great. So, Ron, Mike, brother right here. Excuse me, I forgot your name again. But thank you for inviting us and holding these conversations because, again, it's beautiful. And we need more platforms like this because, to be short, I think Black Americans are really waking up. I think Black Americans are realizing our power. I think the next generation is going to be better than our generation. I think it's a lot of fathers that's leaving the world better than they found it. And it's things like this to help. But to bring it back to me a little bit, IKeepItClassic.com is where you find me. Music, culture, and politics. The podcast that we are pushing right now is Politics and Black Families. So we try to sit down with elected leaders at the local level all the way up to the national level. So you'll see us interviewing, whether it's your congressman, whether it's the city council, whether it's county commissioner, sheriff's office, whoever you could think of. We try to get them on and have a conversation about what should the Black family know, be informed with it, or, even some pushback. And as far as the music, the American episode 3 is available on all streaming platforms. Check it out. You got a lot of great music on there. I have some earlier projects with Don Cannon, DJ Infamous, Greg Street. I got a couple joints to Malcolm Jamal Warner for my EP Rocket Science. But just check out the music. IKeepItClassic.com is where you find it. Again, thank y'all from bringing us on, letting me speak my piece. I love y'all. I love what y'all doing for the culture. Y'all are beautiful black men. Peace. And I ain't scared to say it. Beautiful black man that's golden. Peace.
No doubt, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Always,
Peace.
bro.
Yes, sir.
No doubt.
Love that.
Yeah. That's my guy, IL Cleveland's own. Check out his work on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Tidal. Wherever you can find his music, man.
I like his album too.
Right.
I checked it out when you sent me his joint months ago, and I fuck with it.
Yeah, man. I think somebody at the other podcast in New York, there are other podcasts in New York. They based out of that. I think they're messing up with your Wi-Fi, man. Homie was already in the chat. He might got to connect at the AT&T or Xfinity or a Time Warner or whatever the joint is in New York. I think he's trying to sabotage our situation, but it's all love. But let's go to the next topic. Man.
Needs some milk.
Let's go to the next topic. This topic seems like it never ever ends, right? We normally have this conversation at least once every other podcast. I mean, we can't escape this conversation. We talk about Dr. Dre, we talk about Kanye West, we talk about Pete Rock, DJ Premier, we talked about Jay Dilla, we talk about The Alchemist, we talk about we talk about Rick Rubin, we talk about Mike Dean, we talk about DJ Jazzy Jeff, we talk about DJ Paul, Juicy J. We talk about a lot of different people, right? A lot of different producers: Timbaland, Swiss, Neptunes, Pharrell, Knots, Bink, Manny Fresh, Scott Storch. It always comes down to this fundamental conversation: what's the difference between a beat maker and a producer? What's your thoughts? Because we talked about this on the last episode of Mic Check. We're gonna be on tonight at 6 p.m. Check us out. Mike D's gonna have his 25 R&B hip hop list. But he has a thought that, you know, there's a producer is a different, and I think you have a thought too. Producers are different than beat makers. I think my man Leroy said they're one and the same. What's your thoughts on this controversial topic?
I feel like to be a producer, I look at a producer as being, they're like movie directors to me. Creatively, the buck stops with the producer. It is their job to oversee the overall vision of the song or the album and to carry that vision out by any means necessary. And whatever that means. And so sometimes that may mean, you know, you might hear a certain type of voice on this track, like sung or whatever. It's the producer's job to get that voice. You may, as a producer, you may hear a beat, and with your producer ear, you might say, you know what, this actually might be a little overproduced. It's the producer that makes the call. You know what, let's remove this instrument, take this instrument out, you know, make those decisions, because again, they are in charge of the final product. And so I think that that is what a producer does. And so if you are someone that makes beats, and you know, you may get a placement, but you might not have a say in the arrangements, in the structuring of the song, in the arranging of the vocals. If you just created the beat, but you don't have any input in anything, the other components of the song, you were just a beat maker. And I don't think there's any, I don't say that to be insulting. I just think that a producer is someone like they oversee, because there's just more to a song than just the beat. There's also the vocals. There's also, you know, and how those two are married. And so I think you have producers who do a little bit of both. I look at Mustard, for example, where you know, Mustard really had a hand in like YG's sound and in doing that early on in his career. I look at Mustard as a producer. At the same time, Mustard said recently he heard Not Like Us, you know, the same time we all heard it. You know, he didn't have any input on that song. He wasn't in the studio when he made it. So I would say in that scenario, Mustard was the beat maker. Mustard on the beat, he made the beat, but he didn't necessarily produce the record. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. It's like it's more like a curator, right? You're putting together like the bassist, you're putting together the string, you know, your lead guitar player, your key man, you know, you're sequencing everything, you're putting together like this whole picture, as opposed to just like, you know, I hear 50 Cent say for a lot of his mixtapes that he did back in the day, you know, people would just email him beats and he would just jump on the beats, right? So it was just like, it's a different thing as opposed to going in the studio and like, okay, I'm gonna tinker with everything. And let's be for real, most people are both. Like I would say that Dr. Drake, if Dr. Dre wanted to make a beat, he can do that because he was a DJ. Kanye West, if he wants to make a beat, he can make a beat. He can also produce. That's why, you know, I really don't like the knock on Kanye. They say he had a lot of ghost production. Still doesn't take away what he is, because he's taking these different elements of sounds and creating a masterpiece like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, right? He can take different elements from like Bink, right? For example, Devil in a New Dress. He can take what Bink did and tweak it a little bit. Or he can take, you know, 88 Keys work and kind of flip it a little bit, you know, and kind of move things here and there. And he also enlists help from Timbaland to change his drum patterns on Stronger and on another record he did on Vultures, right? So I think, you know, and then, you know, him working with Ty Dolla $ign and him working with Mike Dean and him working with so many different people. I just think you have to be cognizant of how we label people and put people in boxes. I think most producers, for the most part can DJ. Like Q-Tip's a DJ. I know Manny Fresh is a DJ. Pete Rock's a DJ. Clark Kent's a DJ. People that DJ understand how music and sequencing works, how to mix, how sounds work. So I just think we need to be a little bit more cognizant. And I don't think it's a bad thing to be a beat maker, but you can be, because you can be both. And shout out to Michael Brown. Michael Brown says this is another tired topic, but I invite Michael Brown to call in and give his thoughts on it, on the matter. But yeah, man. So let me ask you: did you get a chance to check out the Martian Ambrosius project? Did you get a chance to listen to that?
You know what? I gave it a listen through. I listened through it. I didn't, just once though. I didn't really like dive in too deep, but yeah. What'd you think?
I kind of agree with Mike D on this one, man. I thought it was a dope project for what it was. I don't think it's nothing earth shattering. I think it was good. It was a good kind of throwback to hip hop and R&B kind of clashing together. And I thought it was good. I mean, Marsha's her voice never like kind of knocked me off my feet. But I just think she has a nice voice. It was really melodic. I like how Dr. Dre approached it. But to Mike's point, he took a lot of samples that were already tried and true. It was nothing that was cutting edge or innovative or something that was future proof. But it was a dope album. I think it was a solid project. I think they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. But is it taking us light years ahead? Is this something we can say when we talk about Dr. Dre and his discography and his legacy as a producer? Is this one that we're going to cite? Probably not. We're going to look at, Straight Outta Compton. We're going to look at The Chronic. We're going to look at Doggy Style. We're going to look at 2001. So I don't think we're going to hold this as one of the examples of him as a great producer. But it was solid work. It was solid work.
I was wondering what this album would sound like, because I've actually been very interested just to know what a full R&B Dr. Dre produced album sounds like. And I guess I agree with Mike in that a lot of the samples were tried and true. And it's hard, like I don't take points off for that necessarily, but it is one of those things where I kind of wish that he stretched himself a little bit more, just in terms of making an R&B album that doesn't have to rely on mostly hip hop samples. I like the hip hop samples, and obviously I'm a bump to it, but I also love R&B in a traditional way. And I think that when we talk about great producers, I do think that's the one thing where someone like Kanye, or even like Pharrell or Timbaland, have over a Dre, where especially Kanye, like Kanye can say he produced John Legend's first 2 albums, you know what I mean? And he didn't, even though it was sample heavy, it felt like an R&B album. They felt like R&B albums. And I don't know if we got that from Dre. I don't know if we got that from this project altogether. There were a couple tracks that I heard that were there, but I think as a body of work, it did feel like he was leaning on the hip hop side of things more than he could have.
Right. So yeah, I think we kind of lean in the same way, man. I kind of look at it the same way you do. The beat makers can be producers, and producers can be beat makers. But I think often not. Sometimes there's just a segment of our culture that just makes beats. You know what I'm saying? And they just send the beat via email. They're not producing the whole track. So sometimes a beat maker can't be a producer, but a beat maker but a producer most 100% of the time is a beat maker. It's just like synonymous. If you're a producer, you can make a beat. But there's some people, like, I don't know. Is Puff a beat maker?
See, me personally, I feel like it's the other way around. I feel like a beat maker isn't necessarily a producer, but a producer. What am I trying to say here? Use your words, Vay. I feel like a producer doesn't necessarily have to be a beat maker. because the producer is all in your ear. Does that make sense? Like it's just all what's going on here. Whereas the beat making is all here. But if I'm hearing something, there might be something that I hear that I might not be able to execute with my hands. So I'm gonna call somebody who can do it, but they're still carrying out my vision that I hear. So I'm still the producer on that.
Right.
You know, it's like literally why we have session. It's why we have session musicians.
Right. It's like Puff and the Hitman, right? Puff is like he's in the studio. He's not programming, you know, the MPC, but he's actually telling, I want to hear it like this, take out a little bit of this, boom, do that. You know what I'm saying? Take that out. Let's layer this on top of that. He's a producer in that sense, but he's not actually making the beat, you know. So it's a difference.
You have to have, as a producer, you have to have the power of communication to communicate your vision for this song, this album, this project, whatever. The producer's biggest asset is their ability to communicate, because they probably can't, depending on the scope of the song, they probably can't do everything. You know what I mean? Like if you hear, there might be a song where that contains, say, like a trumpet sample, and you're like, you know what? This actually, like this trumpet, because we're sampling this sound, it sort of sounds muffled. It actually might sound better if we just get somebody to actually replay it and to make it sound more crisp. You have to be thinking with the producer's ear on that level. And those are the decisions that producers make. Whereas I would say a beat maker will probably just let it rock and just, you know, because the beat hard, the drums hard, you know, whatever. But you know, I don't think that a producer necessarily has to be a beat maker, but they can still have a hell of an ear. You could still have an ear and be like, there's something, you know, I might not be able to work that MP, but them drums is off. Something is off about them drums. You should change the drums. Something about that pattern isn't right. Or you know what? Something ain't knocking the way. Basically with Kanye. Think about Kanye with the Stronger record. He knew his ear was telling him with the Stronger record, these drums don't sound right. They should be able to knock, because where I want this song to play, you want the drums to feel a certain way, but I don't know how to do that myself. Let me call Tim. That's the move of a producer. Yes, Tim should, and I think he did get a co-producing credit on that, but credit Kanye for even having the wherewithal and the ear to pick up on that in the first place. Otherwise, he would have released the song as is, and motherfuckers would have been like, it's cool, but something about it ain't knocking. That's the producer's job to pick that up. I think you muted. You might be muted.
My kids were screaming in the background, so I muted myself. Yo, sometimes you can overproduce, like, because for example, when Drake Push-Ups record, the first one that we're using to Get Money samples, it was raw. It was just, I thought it was more effective the way he came in vocally. But when he released the one that was released to DSPs, the official version of Push-Ups, I thought it was overproduced. So sometimes you can overproduce. But I think I want to do this, man. I think I'm gonna talk to Mike about it. I think we're gonna do an According to Hip Hop mixtape. We're gonna put it out, and I want to produce the whole. I want to be the executive producer. And I want to produce the whole joint. So I want you as somebody who knows how to work the MPC and Pro Tools and Logic and all that shit. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna get some studio time. We're gonna sit down together. It's gonna be the best shit that you ever created and that we ever made. That's what we're gonna do. How about that?
No doubt. Who's featuring on it? Who we featuring on it?
We're gonna get Ice Spice on one track. We're gonna get her. You know, we're gonna get Lotto on another one. We're gonna get her. You know, we're gonna get I think we're gonna get 2 Chainz on it. We're gonna get Rakim. I'm gonna get Rakim on the mixtape. I want to get Cole on the mixtape. I want to get Raekwon.
This is a very diverse mixtape.
I want to get Andre 3000 playing the flute on it. I want him playing the flute on the track. You know what I'm saying? I want to do that. I think I want to get Meth. I want to get Yo-Yo. I want to bring Yo-Yo from the West Coast to get some. Yeah, I want to do that. So I you put me on the spot right now. I got to kind of think about the vision I want to have for this mixtape. But email us if you are a dope MC or producer. Email us at info@accordingtohiphop, the number 2 hiphop.com. Submit. We're gonna put this tape together probably for the fall. Since the fall off ain't coming, we're gonna call it. You know, we're gonna put something out for the fall. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Uncle Murder, we're gonna get Uncle Murder on the joint. You know, yeah, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope. That's gonna be my debut. This
man. Is the most diverse mixtape I've ever heard, man.
Yeah, I got a vision for it. It's called According to Hip Hop. So we got to get all spectrums of hip hop to touch the mixtape. So,
you know what though? But I do think that it's something to be said. Something to be said about matching up artists that wouldn't necessarily go together, which I think Kanye was so great at. I'm sorry, I keep calling him Kanye. Ye was so great at, definitely early on in his career, being able to pair rappers, putting rappers on a record who you wouldn't think, at least at the time, you wouldn't think went well, whether it's, you know, Freeway or 2 Words or throwing Jay-Z on the Get By remix. You know, I think that there's something to be said, and I love it when that's done well, because we are all a culture. And I would, in a perfect world, I would love for there to be a song where we're bridging that generational gap, and you can hear a Rakim with a Ice Spice, you know, or whatever, you know, whoever it is. I think the best producers are able to carry out that vision. But yeah, man, I love it.
Yo, we got our first super chat for Around the Culture presented by A2HH. Our first live super chat, because some folks have super chatted us when we do the live stream of a pre-recorded show. But shout out to Mall7. He super chatted us. So I remember hearing for years a lot of people saying that my beautiful dark twisted fantasy was overproduced. What do y'all think? Vay, you can take that first.
I don't think it was overproduced. I think he had a specific vision for the cinematic sort of sound about it, and it was big when it needed to be big, and it was minimal when it needed to be minimal. I think he found a lot of great dynamics musically in it, just on a musical level. I would say the thing that I heard about that album mostly was that it lacked the soul that Dropout had. You know, if there were any talks of, you know, critiquing that album, it was, even though my Twisted Fantasy was technically this sort of perfect project that he was putting together, there was something about College Dropout that just felt more organic. It felt more soulful. And that's, you know, no pun intended, of course, it had all the soul samples, but there was just something more organic and soulful about Dropout that a lot of people felt that my Twisted Fantasy lacked. And but I don't think it was overproduced. I just I love that album, by the way, but I do tend to lean more towards Dropout. I do listen to Dropout way more than Twisted Fantasy. So
I'm in a conundrum because I love both albums. I love College Dropout for where I was, because College Dropout speaks to a time of where I was in my life, right? I was in college. I was experiencing a lot of the things that Kanye was talking about at the time. I worked at Banana Republic. He was working at The Gap. He talked about that on Spaceships. You know, just the whole theme of College Dropout was something that I identified to, you know. So I listened to that album, you know, and with a bit of nostalgia, taking me back to my early days coming up. But as I got older, I look at my beautiful dark twisted fantasy as a grand album. It's one of those it's a big album. It's a big record that it's going to sound grand. It's going to sound like it has masterful production. He assembled a lot of different people. because you got to remember that time period that this album came out. I think he recorded the album a lot in Hawaii or maybe some in the Bahamas as well. He took people out to Hawaii. He took Pete Rock out to Hawaii. He took Q-Tip out. That was the Good Friday sessions, right? So a lot of those records like Chain Heavy, Christmas in Harlem, Good Friday, a lot of those records that didn't make My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy were made during that time, and they sounded big. It was a grand theme to the album. And to me, you think about something like Off the Wall. Now, Off the Wall is a produced album. It sounds big, but Thriller sounds bigger. So the same argument that people would make that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is overproduced, some could argue that Thriller is overproduced, because I think, thematically, Off the Wall has more of a flow to it. It's more of an R&B, I hate to say this, we use this term, urban album, where Thriller is like it's an assortment of hits that don't really sound cohesive if you listen to it from front to back. But they're both great albums, right? People consider Thriller the best album of all time. I think that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was produced in a grand way, but I wouldn't call it overproduced, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
no, sense?
I agree. Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of songs that I think is overproduced, but I can't.
I know I got an example of an album that I think is overproduced, but I don't want to talk about that on this show. I talked to Mike earlier, and Mike was like, we don't need to talk about this particular artist on every show, but there's a couple albums that I can think of off the top of my head that sound super overproduced, man.
It's either Kendrick or M.
You're getting warm, brother. You're getting warm, brother.
Probably Kendrick.
We will talk about that. So we might have to come up with a list called the most overproduced albums of all time, and I will reveal my list at that point. But anyway, no, Leroy is saying no. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was not overproduced. No, sir, it was not. I'm saying it has a grand sound. He's attempting to make a big album. So I'm not saying it was overproduced. I'm saying it sounds the way it needs to sound. But let's get to the fun part of our show. We're coming to the end. What is the 4th of July is tomorrow. There's gonna be a lot of parties. I think Michael Rubin is having a party. Did you get your invite, Vay, to the Michael Rubin joint?
Oh, you know what? It got lost in the mail, bro.
Okay, because he sent out some Nikes, and I didn't get my invite, but anyway, so we didn't get invited.
You didn't get your invite?
Nah, I thought I was, but maybe Mike D got the invite, or maybe Leroy got the invite.
Mike got it.
I don't know. So we didn't get the invite, but there's gonna be a lot of partying tomorrow. There's gonna be a lot of celebrations. People are gonna be with their friends, families, and loved ones, celebrating the 4th of July. I got my patriotic colors on. You know what I'm saying? Land of the free, home of the brave. But anyway, I was thinking about, at the cookout, everybody talks about the barbecue being, live at the barbecue is the name of the episode today. What are the songs that's on your playlist when we talk about the barbecue? What you gonna be playing on your list tomorrow as you eat the chicken wings, the ribs, the macaroni and cheese, the baked beans, potato salad, sipping on a Fanta, sipping on what?
Yes, cholesterol.
Drinking a mojito, you know what I mean? What you gonna be playing at this cookout, man?
All right, so number 1, Eminem, My Name Is.
Okay. All right.
I'll just play it. I felt like it had to be said. I'm just playing though. I'm just kidding. Take Eminem's picture down. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. All right. That's for Mike. That was for Mike. Number 1, I mean, what is a cookout without summertime, man? What's a cookout without Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff, man? I got summertime, number 1.
Okay, summertime. I had that on my list too. So you kind of took one, kind of stole my thunder on that one. That's cool though. That's cool. What's next?
Let me see. For me, It's a toss-up between Snoop. I got 2 Snoop records, so I'm gonna use 2 of them. What's My Name and Beautiful. Just because those joints feel they feel like summer to me, man. There's
Man, I
something
thought you
about
was
Snoop.
I thought you were gonna say gin and juice or something, man. You know, I thought you was gonna
Gin and juice too, man. I mean, really, man, you could go down that whole Doggy Style album, but yeah, I mean, look, gin and juice too, man. Throw it on there too. But Beautiful, I love Beautiful though. Beautiful feels like you on an island, the sun is out. You know what I mean? Like I just love the way that record feels, man. And I feel like it's not summertime without hearing that song at some point.
Okay, so we got Beautiful Snoop, you got Summertime, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got on your list, brother?
I got Pun, Still Not a Player.
Man, is this Cookout 1998? What kind of Cookout you play?
Hey man, hey, what I'm playing, I'm stuck in the 90s, man. What can I say? I'm very much stuck in the 90s.
All right, what else you got on this list?
I will be very interested to hear yours. Keeping it in the 90s. I'm going with Ja Rule, Living It Up, man.
Oh, babe. Oh, man.
Living It Up, man.
Hey, they gonna be playing this at the Michael Rubin party. I don't know. You did get an invite to this Michael Rubin joint. That's what they playing at the Michael Rubin party, man. This ain't no.
Everybody that be living it up. Hey, man, that shit's still hard.
All right, Vay. You got one more, Vay. You got one more, man. I'm gonna get to my list, man. We got one more, bro.
Let me see. Feel Me Flow.
I was gonna put that on my list. Feel Me Flow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you got something. Now you got something that we on the same page on. All right, Vay. All right, Vay.
What you got?
See, my party's a little bit different, right? You know, I ain't gonna be like the parties that's getting folks in trouble. My parties are legendary. You know what I'm saying? You know, my parties are, going to be rivaling Michael Rubin's parties. And once we get to 100,000 subscribers, we get that budget. We might have our own 4th of July celebration, right?
Love that. Hell yeah.
My parties are a little different, Vay. So I'm gonna come in. First of all, I gotta have this at the party. I gotta have Juvie back that thing up. That's gotta be at the party.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Oh man.
That's just got to be at the party. You know what I'm saying? That's just got to be at the party because that's the type of party. I'm a happily married man with kids. I got 3 children, but I still want to have my guys to have fun because my wife's got cousins and sisters and so everybody have a good time and friends. So we want to have a good time. So back that thing up is gonna be at the barbecue. We're gonna have that on the playlist, right? All right. So what I'm gonna go with now? I'm gonna go. Gotta have ice cream, man. You gotta have ice cream. You gotta have, Ray, Ghost, Cap, Meth. You gotta have that. You know what I mean? That's that. Now you kind of see the vision of my party, right? You see how the barbecue.
I'm waiting on the third one to see the connection. But we getting there.
Okay. So you waiting on the third one, right? So
I'm waiting on the third one.
I Want to Rock, Luke. That's what we gotta go with, man. At the barbecue, we gotta get the barbecue. We gotta get it popping. You know what I mean? I don't have time to play. We gotta go with what we know, right? So I got one that you picked. I gotta have Summertime. I want to mellow it out a little bit. Will Smith, DJ Jazzy Jeff, Will Smith with the Rock Him flow. I gotta have that. You know what I mean? I gotta make sure we kind of cool it out after I Want to Rock with Luke because I'm gonna play Scarred too. I'm gonna play Scarred by Luke, so we're gonna kind of keep that going. And then I'm gonna do something else. This is my last pick. I gotta show Pac love. I'm gonna be How Do You Want It? I gotta play How Do You Want It? I gotta play How Do You Want It? You know what I mean? And I gotta show Pac love. Because that was one of that made me want to party and do a barbecue when I was a youngin'. You know, I like the way you activate them hits and push that ass out. I got a nigga wanting this so bad I'm about to pass out. I want to dig you, but I can't even lie about it. Baby, just alleviate your clothes out of fly about to catch you at the club. Well, shit, you got me feeling body talking shit with me. I can't comprehend the meaning. So you want to roll with me and get your chance to lay on the freeway. Catch me if you can. Hey, you know,
on the freeway.
Hey, I gotta play
Wait,
pop.
but hold on. Wait. So how do you want it before I get around?
No, I'm gonna play I Get Around first. And then I'm gonna play How Do You Want It? Because I gotta set the mood right. So the barbecue, you know, we eating the chicken, we got the ribs, you know, for those that don't eat pork, we got something else for you. Got burgers and everything else. But that's kind of that's how the barbecue is going down. We got
some yams.
Yeah, we got some
up.
ham hocks, and you know, we got things, and you know, we got some things and chicken thighs and all that, you know, we good, you know, so you know, but yeah, that's the barbecue, man. I'm gonna put together a barbecue playlist, man, and yeah, y'all can rock out. That's what I'm gonna be playing tomorrow, man. But yeah, man. But I got one more question to ask you, man, because we talk about the summertime and we talk about lists, and I've been working on. Well, Mike's been working on this list for a little bit. I've been working on a list too. We were going to do it for Hip Hop 50, the top 50 hip hop video vixens. I got one question for you, Vay, before we end our show. Are you a Gloria Velez guy, or are you a Melissa Ford guy? So I put that to the audience as well. Which one are you guys? What are you? Are you a Gloria Velez, or are you neither? Which one are you? Vay?
Ooh. I is a married man.
I am a married. Yeah.
If I had to choose, I'm Melissa Ford.
You know what? You know, back in the day, I would, you know, before, you know, when I was young and not wise, I would have said Gloria Velez. But you know, as a podcast, I'm gonna say Gloria Velez, because you know Melissa Ford's got a show, so she's got a show. She's with Joe Budden. I'm gonna go with Gloria Velez. That's what I'm gonna call it. That's what I'm gonna call it. All right. Well, man, we did our first live, brother. We did our first live. We survived. We got a super chat.
I survived.
We got a super chat. They're clowning you about your internet, man. We're going to have to figure that out. Make sure you send us a super chat.
Yeah.
Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Make sure you super chat. Make sure you send us whatever they got the thing. It's not the super chat, it's a super comment. Whatever. Just show us love, man. And maybe we can go to, you know, get Vay down to Atlanta. I'm still planning my New York trip. And we can just do this stuff in person, so we don't have to worry about Wi-Fi issues. But everything you do supports the channel. Make sure you tune in tonight, 6 o'clock. We have another show, Mike Check. Mike D unveils his list of top 25 R&B hip-hop collaborations. Hip-hop versus on an R&B song. That's tonight at 6 p.m. My name is Ron. That is Vay. This is Around the Culture. We appreciate you tapping in with us. Peace. You good, Vay?
Good, bro.
All right, man. Appreciate you tapping out with us, man. Peace.
All right, man. Peace.